Have you ever looked at your painting in progress and can't quite put a finger on what it needs next? Well, there's two things that I do to resolve those issues. Number one is I put the painting away and I either stop painting for the day or I start working on a different painting. And I don't look at this painting until at least the next day, because then you can look at it with fresh eyes. It's almost as if somebody else painted it. And you can usually tell at that point what needs to be done. Maybe nothing needs to be done. Maybe it's finished. Maybe it's good. But the second thing I do is what I really want to talk to you about today. It is having a little mirror in your studio and using it to look at the art in reverse. Something large like this, I would step back further so you can see the whole thing. But it's amazing when you see something, when you see the art in reverse, things will jump out at you. Now this works for figurative work as well as abstract. Like on figurative work, I do a lot of horses and I might look at it and I say, oh, his neck's too fat. That's what's wrong with it. But it's amazingly, it also works for abstract. You can look at abstract and not quite know what to do next, but if you look at it in the mirror, you might see, oh, the shapes are all too much the same, or that particular color jumps out at me. And it's really amazing to look at something in reverse. Now, I first heard of this technique from a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. It was written in 1979. I think I read it in the early 1980s. And the book emphasized on using a mirror to shift to right brain mode and overcome your left brain bias. She mentioned that Leonardo da Vinci was the creator of this idea. And it's been decades since I read that book, but it really stuck with me and I highly recommend it, especially if you want to learn to draw. A lot of people will skip the drawing when they become artists, but having a foundation in drawing is a good thing to have, and this is a great book. But since I wanted to refresh my memory on what Leonardo had said, so I looked it up on Grok yesterday, and I said, did Leonardo use a mirror to critique his paintings? I wanted to verify this because it's like foggy. It's been a while since I read the book, but it said, yes, Leonardo did use a mirror to critique and evaluate his paintings. He explicitly recommended the practice in his writings, compiled in the book Treatise on Painting, which was based on his notebooks. Leonardo viewed the mirror as an essential tool for painters, often calling it a, quote, master of painters, because it provides a fresh reverse perspective that reveals flaws more clearly than direct viewing. And here's a quote from Leonardo from his notebooks. When you paint, you should have a flat mirror and is there any other kind? Okay, sorry. When you paint, you should have a flat mirror and often look at your work as reflected in it, when you will see it reversed and it will appear to you like some other painter's work, so you will be better able to judge it of its faults than in any other way. So, talking about other painters' works, do you ever look at somebody else's art and you can go, boom, boy, that needs something. But then you look at your own and you can't figure out what to do next. Well, the mirror is your friend. So I highly recommend it. This little mirror I have, this was my grandmother's mirror. I've had this for decades, and she was an artist. So I've managed not to break it, but it's kind of fun to use your grandmother's mirror. I don't think she used the mirror in the manner that I'm talking about, but anyway, get you a little mirror, and I also have a link in the description to the book Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I have the latest updated issue linked, and also I have a Substack newsletter called Practical Advice for Artists, where I write about things like Leonardo's mirror as well as other cool stuff. It's free. Please subscribe and let me know in the comments if you use a mirror or if you've heard of this technique.